Late December in Oberhof. There are just days to go before the Nordic Combined World Cup starts here. But the facilities are nowhere near ready for the competition. I'm helping prepare the large jump. The 118-meter in-run slope needs to be spread smoothly with snow, so there are no bumps before the Nordic Combined skiers fling themselves off the end of it. The region has seen unusually high snowfall this year, but for the past few days, the snow has been melting, so the jump has to be covered with artificial snow, which remains frozen even in above-zero temperatures. The man in charge of the jumps, Detlef Kotlinski, has to react quickly to changing problems. He says he can tell by the way the snow falls out of the truck that it's wet, and that could put the preparations behind schedule. Keeping to the schedule is vital, and not just at the ski jumps. Oberhof is not only hosting the Nordic combination, it's also putting on the first event of the Tour de Ski, one of cross-country skiing's most important competitions. The thick fog and drizzle are not exactly inviting conditions for outdoor sport, but I brave the weather and snap on my skis, first time for years. The wet snow makes it difficult, the course is hard going, and in places unpredictable. It takes me a few kilometers to find any kind of rhythm. I make my way from the World Cup course to the skiing arena, Oberhof's other important sports venue. It has a crowd capacity of 11,000, but there's still a lot of work to be done here too. The staff here are used to preparing for major events. The town has hosted many World Cup events and World Championships over the years. There are nearly 1,000 people working here. More than half of them are volunteers. There's little sign of any athletes yet. Only the local sports stars are here, like Jens Filbrich, who I catch up with during a news conference. The cross-country skier has just got back from a World Cup event in the Alps. The next race takes place here in Oberhof. Jens says that's good for him, because it means he can spend the holidays with his family. He tells me the Oberhof course is one of the most difficult on the World Cup circuit. But he says what makes Oberhof so special is not the course itself, but its setting, with the huge stadium. Only Holmenkollen in Norway and Lahti in Finland are in any way similar. The temperature starts to rise, and the snow keeps melting. That means work on the large jump has to be cancelled for the next day. But Detlef Kotlinski takes the delay in stride. He still has 3 days before he really needs to start getting worried. He tells me everything's still going according to plan. The slope is still well covered, and so is the in-run. He says it's covered with plastic at the moment to protect the snow from the rain. He says on the slope itself, the snow is compact enough to resist the weather conditions, with temperatures around +2 or 3 degrees. So they're concentrating on clear-up work today. The athletes are still not out in the snow. Germany's national coach, Kuno Schrey, has called them in for an indoor training session. The individual skiers turn out to be good soccer players too, especially Axel Teichmann, two-time world champion and winner of several World Cup events in cross-country. Jens Filbrich is more cautious. He doesn't want to risk injury before his home World Cup race. Jens says indoor training makes a welcome change and helps develop speed and coordination, which is important in his sport. The first stage of the tour is the prologue, he explains, and fast-moving sports are a good way to train for that. Oberhof can look back on more than 100 years of competitive skiing history. I paid a visit to the Winter Sports Museum on the edge of the town to learn more about it. The first national championships took place here in 1906, and the town has been a ski sport mecca ever since. Back to the present. I take a walk to the cross-country training course to meet the German competitors. I meet up with Jens Filbrich and Axel Teichmann. They know this area like the back of their hands. But their first training session for weeks on their home terrain is still something special for them.
Ja gut, perfekt eigentlich, super präpariert.
Jens Filbrich says preparations for the competition have been perfect. He's glad the weather has improved and the rain has eased off. He says he's enjoyed today's training session. Work has now resumed on the slope. The snow has become compact and hard. Detlef Kotlinski and his team are about to cut tracks in the in-run. It's precision work and it takes a lot of skill to get it right. A fine spray of water melts the snow in the appropriate places. Since the temperature has dropped below zero, a layer of ice forms. That means less friction and higher speeds for the ski jumpers. A faster takeoff can mean a longer jump. It's 8 in the morning at the ski arena. Jens Filbrich, Axel Teichmann and the other cross-country skiers are already out training. There are just 48 hours till the competition starts, so they're not training too intensely at this stage. They're pacing themselves. Detlef Kotlinski and his team are still hard at work. Despite the thick fog, they're preparing for test jumps to make sure the tracks and the snow are good enough for a World Cup event. Even for experienced jumpers, it's not easy. The changeable conditions of the past few days, coupled with the fog, make every jump that bit more risky. The next day, the World Cup begins. Oberhof is full of fans, but for those in the combination event, the start actually means a long wait. The snow on the ramp might be just right, but the wind isn't. They try to keep warm kicking a ball around, but then the event is postponed till the next day. Kotlinski is disappointed, but he says you have to expect these things when you're dealing with outdoor events. The wind can always play up, he says, so you just have to wait till tomorrow. The cross-country skiers aren't worried by the wind. They start on time. Jens Filbrich tries out some skis, and then they're off. The German fans are there at the opening ceremony in the evening to cheer on their national team, including competitor number 44, Filbrich. And Axel Teichmann.
We will go on to hand over this.
When the wind turns the next day, the Nordic combination competition can get underway at last, with the training session followed by the competition itself. And all the hard work by Kotlinski and his crew has paid off. 11,000 people have come to the arena to watch the Tour de Ski, and Axel Teichmann wins the event. Jens Filbrich comes in 18th. Not a great result, but one he says he can live with.